Hello, hello. This is the my artifact episode number 3836. Today's date is January 23, 2026. It's been almost like a morning at 9:49 a.m. All right. So there is a couple of things that I wanted to change. Okay. First is that I shouldn't supposed to be read more than half an hour. Like basically today I decided that I should supposed to be read 1 hour every single day. But the problem is that if I try to read 1 hour, then probably is this thing that other thing is actually hampered. Okay, yeah. First of all, why I started reading for 1 hour. Okay, first of all, if you don't really understand, okay. So in 2026, my resolution is that I have to be read my book. Okay, yeah, and I have to be read at least half an hour every single day book. Okay, this is a kind of like some resolution that I have, and that I'm kind of like doing it that. Half an hour is okay, I can manageable things and that, but 1 hour reading a book is kind of like not possible because there other things are actually hampered. Okay, so I don't want to hamper other things. Like basically I have to make the breakfast, then sometimes I just have to mop the floor and things like that, other things. Okay, yeah. So possibly this thing for me half an hour would be really good. I shouldn't supposed to be extend more than that. Okay, yeah. Okay, now half an hour is good. All right, now let's proceed to the artifact. All right, yeah. Now this is artifact episode number 3836 maybe. Today's date is January 23, 2026. It's been almost like a morning at 9:51 a.m. All right, so let's just jump right into the question. All right, the question is, do I want fame or do I just want to be quietly respected for my skill and honesty? Oh, that is a really good question. All right, yeah. First of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is YouTube related question. A kind of like a somebody is this thing. These are kind of like a question are kind of like a somebody tell us that am I worthy enough to kind of like consider myself as a YouTuber or not? Okay, yeah. And these are kind of like some question are kind of like somebody make me realization regarding about that am I worthy enough to call myself as a YouTuber or not? Because being a YouTuber is a kind of like a very easy to say or very easy to do. You just have to upload your video on the YouTube and that's it, you just become a YouTuber. Oh yeah, but in reality it's not really work like that way. Okay, yeah, it's far more difficult to understand every possible scenario regarding about everything. Okay, yeah. So like basically is this thing that I'm kind of like doing this YouTube for almost like a 5 year, and I never really asked this question to myself. And I think that because if I didn't really ask this question to myself, I am not really kind of like a somebody grown that much or kind of like a somebody that right. So it is kind of like a really essential for me to kind of like a something to ask this question, to have a realization that am I enough, am I worthy enough to kind of like call myself as a YouTuber or not. All right, yeah. Now this is kind of like question is actually about that thing. The question is that do I want fame or do I just want to be quietly respected for my skill and honesty? Do I want fame? Do you want fame? Well, basically is this thing, if I'm say this thing, like basically is this thing that if you ask this question to the everyone, probably people will gonna say this thing, no, I don't need a fame, I will kind of like need a kind of like a simply quiet respect and honesty and things and that. It's a kind of like a simply is this thing, people are kind of like a simply chasing the kind of like a simply a right answer. Okay, but in reality people does very differently. Okay, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you regarding about every possible scenario and things and that. Okay, yeah. Why am I kind of like making this content? What is the reason for that? I have a creativity, I have kind of like a very different perspective of looking at the world, and basically that perspective, I'm sharing that perspective in social media platform, in YouTube. It kind of like somebody gives me freedom to express my creativity, express my freedom, express my perspective to the public, and it feels really good. It kind of like gives me freedom. There is no other platform kind of like gives me that kind of like a freedom and things and that. YouTube actually give me that. So yes, this is the one reason. Another reason is that ki I think that this is the kind of like a way that I would achieve my not only just being a YouTuber as a goal, but as a kind of like a some different goal. Okay, yeah. Like basically, it's a kind of like a some beginning of my everything. Okay, yeah. And YouTube is a kind of like a beginning of this thing. So I think this is a kind of like a some reason. Regarding about money, do I want money? Yes, I want money. It's not really that no one wants money. 90% of your problem actually solved by the money. So yes, I want money too. Okay, yeah. But obviously this thing at the moment, I have almost like a 1600 something subscriber. Okay, not really that much. I'm not really earning any kind of like a money, but still I'm doing this is because of that key. In the future, I will not gonna earn just a money, but I will gonna earn the respect, honesty, and everything. Also, I get the fame too. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing now? What I'm saying is this thing now. Okay, yeah. What do you want? Do you want fame, respect, honesty, or what exactly is this thing? Well, these are all those things are actually connected each other. You cannot kind of like get one thing and you cannot get another thing. No, it's not. You will get everything. You will get fame, you will get respect, you will get honesty, you will get money, you will get everything. Like it's a kind of like a package that it combined with everything. It's a really essential thing that like basically the question is kind of like a very wrong in this context. Okay, yeah. Now fame, like basically is this thing I think that I'm kind of like giving this answer from just my point of perspective. Okay, yeah. Sometimes fame is really essential. Let's just say is this thing that I am a kind of like a Bollywood actress. Okay, yeah. Now for me, it's kind of like a really essential to me to kind of like somebody get famous, because this is what kind of like a somebody like we are in kind of like a digital economy. Sorry, we are in attention economy. In this attention economy, people are kind of like a value such a person who kind of like a somebody hold attention for longer period of time. So for me, it's kind of like a really essential for me to kind of like somebody hold people's attention. So that's why I'm kind of like posting my photos, selfies, things and that, so that people would kind of like engage and things and that. Okay, yeah. The more number that it gets, the more attention that it get, as well as kind of like more money that it gets. Also, kind of like more kind of like a film project which has a kind of like I will gonna ask kind of like more money to the producer, so that I would gonna get more money and things and that. So this is what it is. This is what kind of like assembly we are living in this world. Okay, yeah. So like basically is this thing now what exactly is this thing that if I get fame, then will I not get honesty, or will I not get kind of like assembly the basically the purpose, or will I not get kind of like assembly the what is that they say that key like a quality kind of like some respect and honesty, did I not get like a, if I kind of like mention this thing that key I have this fame and things like that, so I do not have a respect, or I do not have a kind of like assembly that key honesty, things like that? Well, yeah, in some certain context it might does. Okay, example is this thing that let's just say there is a girl who has a kind of like assembly running a OnlyFan channel. OnlyFan, what's the OnlyFan? OnlyFan is a kind of like assembly adult website. Okay, in this adult website, people are kind of like sharing their nude photos and things and that. Obviously, you cannot able to kind of like share those things on Instagram platform. So basically, those models are kind of like assembly share a half naked video, or maybe kind of like assembly that key like a provoking kind of like assembly photos that she uploaded on Instagram platform, so that people will kind of like click the link and they will kind of like assembly went to the OnlyFans page, and they will kind of like see the entire details regarding about how they looks and things and that, like this is what it is. Okay, yeah. So in this particular context, okay, yeah, those women who are kind of like assembly doing this particular stuff, they will get famous very easily. They will kind of like gain the follower very easily, very rapidly, and things and that. But they will not get the respect. They will not get kind of like assembly they will not get respect and things and that. Why is not they will get respect? Okay, let me give you the perspective regarding about that key. Which person will get kind of like a respect or things and that. I'm gonna kind of like mention the respect. Okay, yeah. Now every work is a difficult. Okay, if I'm gonna say painting, yeah, it's a very difficult. It's a creativity. It's a very difficult too. Okay, yeah. If I practice more, I can kind of like assembly make a kind of like assembly painting much more better. Okay, yeah. So if I am painting and people are kind of like assembly. My paint work is kind of like a shown on social media platform. People are kind of like respect me is because of that. It's an effort. Not everyone does this thing. I am doing it that. So yeah. Now let's compare to the sex. Okay, yeah. Now sex is a kind of like a thing that most of the people don't really consider. It's a kind of like a skill. And why is that? Because everyone does it. Everyone does it. Okay, yeah. But that is a wrong thing. Everyone not does the sex thing. Like that's the wrong thing. Okay, yeah. Like basically is the thing what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, yeah. In a normal people, a normal couple would kind of like simply do a sex in a such a way that they just kind of like do the penetration and that's it. Okay, yeah. It's not really that they didn't really enjoy the sex, but they didn't really kind of like basically this thing. It's a kind of like very like a fragile word to say and things and that. But doing a sex is a skill. Yeah, is a skill, by the way. It's a legit skill. Okay, yeah. And the people who are kind of like a work on this profession, they are really good at that. Okay, and this is kind of like some very harsh statement that most of people kind of like some things that ki, what the fuck that you are saying, dude? Sex has never been a skill. Sex is just a like a taboo subject and things and that. Well, okay, yeah. Like basically, it depends on who you are, where are you from, and things and that. And also is this thing that ki our society kind of like looked at a sex is a kind of like a very taboo subject. They never really seen a kind of like a sex is a kind of like a natural expression of kind of like a like basically is this thing na ki sex is a kind of like a thing that ki nature kind of like a tell us that you have to do it. You have to do it. It's not a wrong thing to talk about sex. It's not a wrong thing to do a sex. It's not a wrong thing anything about sex. But still we kind of consider this thing it's a wrong thing. And why is that? Is because of we are social animal and things and that. It is that thing. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, a painter who could paint a painting, he would get the respect maybe 10 out of maybe 8, 9, wagera. But the girl who kind of like doing a sex, she will not gonna get respect. At least she get minus respect. Like probably she will consider as a whore. She would consider as a slut. She would consider as a the people are kind of like a look at very wrong way perspective, and she might get kind of like a little less respect. Even when in the real she kind of like shown her face, then probably it might be kind of like somebody just people might be uncomfortable and things and that, and that is true. That is definitely true. Okay, and we are living in this world and things and that. Whatever. I'm kind of like simply went off topic. So basically, is this thing, the painter who kind of like post the painting on the social media platform, people are kind of like give the respect to the painter. Okay, yeah. But views are little less. Okay, yeah. Let me give you the kind of like simply statistical understanding so that you might gonna understand better. Okay, so let's just say a painter. I am the painter, and I kind of like paint something. And I kind of like shown in front of hundreds of people. Okay, yeah. So in the hundreds of people, in the 100, maybe kind of like 100 out of maybe kind of like somebody 30 or 40 people might gonna like the video. They push the like button. They push the things that okay, it's good, it's great. Okay, yeah. As well as in the 30 people, almost like a 20 people also will have a respect. They will kind of like somebody add a respect about me. They will kind of like gain respect about me. That is good. Okay, so this is the ratio. 100 out of 30 people like your content, and 100 out of 20 people will kind of like get the respect of your craft and things and that. Okay, yeah. But 70 and 80 people will doesn't really change anything at all. It just the rest of the 70 and 80 people, they just like it's a kind of like another photo that they seen on the internet, and that's it. They just kind of like skip it. They just don't really care about this thing. And why is that? Because it's a kind of like a thing. It's a kind of like a something that there are very less people who are kind of like somebody try to see a good thing on the internet. Okay, yeah. And very less people means what? 100 out of 30 people. 70 people are kind of like somebody try to see such a thing that kind of like somebody like a fun or kind of like somebody exaggerated and things and that. Okay, yeah. This is what it is. Okay. Now let's talk about a girl who is kind of like somebody uploading her kind of like a somebody half naked photo on Instagram platform or things like that. You cannot able to upload nude photo, but you can able to upload kind of like somebody half naked video or maybe like a provoking video, provoking images and things like that. Okay, yeah. Now that particular girl upload that particular photo. How many people like that photo? Okay, yeah. So let me tell you one thing. I'm gonna tell you the kind of like very exact thing. Okay, yeah. Now in this scenario, things are very much different. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me give you the perspective. Okay, yeah. A painter who paint the painting, he get 30 likes. He get 30 likes, and that 30 like will kind of like add more uh, with the time. Okay, means like that if I upload the photo today, maybe today I will get 30 likes. Tomorrow or maybe after a week, I will gonna get 30 to maybe 35 or maybe 36 or then 40 and things like that and that. But the growth will be very slow. Growth will be very slow and things and that and that. Okay, yeah, it will gonna grow but very slow, not really that much. Maybe like within a day you might get only one like. Okay, so the growth will be really slow. Okay, yeah. But if you are kind of like a particular person, like that girl who only fan girl and things and that, and she upload the photo, so 100 out of, let's just say 100 out of 70 people like that photo. 100 out of 70 people, maybe 80 people like that video. Okay, yeah. By the way, these are the same people. Okay, I'm not kind of like changing the people. No, they are the same people. 100 out of 80 or maybe 70 people like that photo. Oh yeah. Now regarding about respect, no respect. You will not gonna get any respect at all. The people who are in your background or the people who are wanted to go into the adult industry and things and that, they will gain the respect regarding about how you pose and things and that. But still, it's just very, very, very low people. Very, very, very low. Like it's kind of like a less than one or things and that. Okay, yeah. I'm not even counting this thing. And regarding about respect, that is nothing really at all. So basically, you will gonna get like 100 out of 70 or 80, but you will not gonna respect at all. Okay, but story is not end here. Okay, that like will kind of like suddenly fall down. In the painter situation, your like will kind of like slowly go ahead, like a 32, 35, 36, 37, 38, 40, 47, like that. But your like get drop. Means like that, you upload the photo, at the beginning you will might gonna get 70 likes. Okay, yeah. But tomorrow you might get less, maybe 60, then 55 and things and that. Okay, yeah, things and that. Why is that? Because at the beginning they kind of like somebody like people who are kind of like somebody really love to see and things and that, and by the spur of the moment they kind of like the particular photo and things and that. But after they realize, no, yeah, dude, I did something really wrong. Okay, because people are kind of like realize that okay, people have that mentality that this is a kind of like somebody the sex thing and that. It's kind of like a really good, but I shouldn't supposed to be kind of like attach my personality into this particular subject and things and that. So they just kind of like remove their interaction, like remove the likes or things and that. Okay, and yeah, it does. So after some sort of time, the like will drop down. Okay, like will drop down. Okay, so this is what it is. By the way, the question is actually about very different. The question is actually about the kind of like respect and kind of like a fame and things and that. As I mentioned, at my situation, like basically I am a content creator. I kind of like create a content regarding about Photoshop, photography, graphic designing. It's a kind of like creativity. And basically when I kind of like say this thing creativity, it kind of like a very different point of perspective, looking at the world and things and that. So basically for me, when I get famous, I will not only get more famous, I will get more respect, I will get more honesty, I will get kind of like more money, I will get kind of like more like a responsibility, I will get everything more. Okay, yeah. But this does not work in a it's kind of like my way of kind of like assembly. It's my thing that I get. Other people, they didn't really get that thing. Okay, yeah. In maybe kind of like only fan girl, they might gonna get something very different. They might gonna get so much amount of like but no respect. They might gonna get famous but no respect. Okay, yeah. things and that, they will gonna get the money too. Yeah, it's not only that they will not gonna get money, but this is what it is. This is what kind of like an attention economy and things and work and things like that. By the way, I just kind of like telling the only one story or one context or one kind of like image or 100 people, and that's it. Social media algorithm works on kind of like a millions of people with a millions of posts with a millions of things and that, and there are so many stuff. So many things are actually going on, things and that. Okay, yeah. So basically the question is that do I want fame, or do I just want to be quietly respected for my skills, honesty and things and that. I think that for me, if I get fame, I will not only get a kind of like a simply respect, I will get the skill, honesty, I will get everything. Okay, I will get everything. It's not really that, like for me it's a kind of like it's only a package deal that I get everything. Okay, in the future. But it takes time. It's not gonna get, as I mentioned, easier. That key internet is a kind of like a thing that now very less people are kind of like a wanted to utilize for right purposes. Okay, yeah. And I'm kind of like a grabbing that kind of like a less people who are kind of like utilize internet for right reason, and those number of people are kind of like a very less on internet. So that's why I'm gonna get very less growth and things and that. Okay, get it? So this is what kind of like this kind of like a system is actually work and things and that. Sometimes I just feel like that I'm kind of like a guru or what. I don't know. Like, how do I have this? But I don't know. But it felt really good. It felt like really nice to say. Whatever. Okay, so I should supposed to end here. Okay, this is it. And thank you.